10:29. I have a bigger one. There's different styles of tali tote, and so you have a certain style. I have a certain style. No, it's just like there's different styles. I have ones that are like that, and I also have this one. You could have. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know about that. All right. Where do you guys have family in from? Baltimore. What about you? Boston, Arizona, California.
Shabbat Shalom. Oh, goodness. All right, we have to warm up a little bit. Here we go. Let's join together in a little Hine Matov. Here we go. Hine Matov umanaim shevet achim gam yachad. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Matov umanaim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov umanaim shevet achim gam yachad. Now, this is a repeat after me. We're going to do it again. Rabbi Knight gave you a big clue, okay? But we're going to try it again. It's English. You've got this. Here we go. I go, how good it is. And then you... All right, we're going to try it. How good it is. How sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is. How sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine Matov, clap, clap, umanaim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, umanaim shevet achim gam yachad. That was better.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is wonderful to have all of you here. In our Jewish tradition, the word Shabbat reminds us of the story of creation, where we're told that God created for 6 days, and then on the seventh day, God rested. And it is good to rest. It is good to work, and it is also good to rest, to refresh, to renew, to recognize the good that's in our lives. And Shalom is our tradition's greatest prayer. It's a prayer for peace. We say shalom as in welcome and hello, but also shalom as in peace and wholeness, that we are here in this moment of reflection and rest to recognize all that is good around us, to find some moment of peace. Our phones have this thing which is called airplane mode. We like to call it Shabbat mode here at Temple Bethel, specifically designed for for these purposes of just letting the outside world be the outside world, allowing yourself to give yourself a gift of being right here in this moment right now. And there's a huge reason why we do that. One of the reasons why we give ourselves the gift of being right here right now is because, quite frankly, this configuration of people will never again ever exist in this way, where we're sitting, who's here, who's joining us online, right? We are in a unique setting that is separate and unique and different from any other time that has ever existed. And so we recognize the gift of that moment by being here together. We recognize the gift of that moment by actually helping to participate in the worship, as Cantor Thomas invited you to sing along, right? As Jacob and Teddy lead us in worship this morning, we're going to be singing along. I'll talk a little more about that first in a moment. But first, we want to recognize who's here. So there are 2 cameras at the back of the room. You'll see that. You can see if you turn around, turn in your seats, look up, you'll see 2 cameras. That is not our surveillance system. We have people who are joining, right? We can say, turn around and say Shabbat Shalom to the people who are joining from all over the world. We have people here who are from Baltimore and California and South Carolina and Massachusetts and all over the place. And we want to welcome one another here. So what I want you to do is turn to the north, the south, the east, the west, in all different directions, and say Shabbat Shalom to the people who are right around you. So turn around, welcome one another here. Is my mic on? Okay. As I said, that Jacob and Teddy are going to be leading us in services this morning. And our service, the words for the worship service are going to be found on the screens, which are on either side of the ark. And we invite you to pray, and Jacob and Teddy really, you invite them, right, to participate in the service, to every time you're reading in Hebrew or English to also read along with you. Is that correct? Yep, okay. Teddy is emphatic that that we all participate, right? And so the goal is that every time now if you don't know Hebrew, right, that's okay. We have transliteration. We have Hebrew written in English Latin letters on to the left of it. If you don't know the tunes, that's okay. In Jewish tradition, if you decide that you just want to sing lie, 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 that works, right? We welcome you. So the goal here is to participate, to recognize the uniqueness of the moment, to let the outside world be the outside world, and to all be together. Our first prayer is the words of Baruch Hu. And Baruch Hu is what's known in our Jewish tradition as our call to worship. We invite you to rise and to stand, and Teddy and Jacob will begin in our call to worship. So please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam
Yotzer or uvarei choshech. Oseh shalom uvarei et hakol. Hamair la'aretz v'ladarim aleha berachamim. Uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid. Maaseh v'reishit. Ma'rabu ma'asecha Adonai. Kulam b'chochma asita. Mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu. Al sheva ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita yifa'aru hasela. Or chadash al Sion ta'ir, v'nizkeh chulanu mehera le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer hamerot.
Love your neighbor as yourself, you said. The light blinded, we saw that inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke and we wrote, we reached for you down the centuries. your light moving before us. As we climbed, fell back, and climbed again, your Sinai of life.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'chavtecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotefot bein einecha uv'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha Leman tiskeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'Hashem kedoshim le'Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti atem me'eretz Mitzrayim le'ot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue on page 239. Emet, there is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness there is your word. Emet, that pen strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame, stir the soul's passion, guide our sacred way.
True and enduring is Torah. Your truth for us is certain and established, now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice. Hang on. I have something about that didn't feel right to me. Here we go. That's much better. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot. O sefer shira chadasha shibechu geulim. לשמחה שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל ופדחנו מך יהודה וישראל גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufia Gita Hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu ve'Imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah,
Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Hasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, Leman Shamo Be'ahava, Melech Otzer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol Atah Rav Le'Oshia, Morid Hatal, Mechachel Hayim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somen Nofelim Verofecholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Amnato, Lishene Afar, Micha Mocha Ba'o Gevurot, Umido Mela, Melech Memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiat Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah Lechaot Hakol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye Hakol.
Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, keshem shemakdishimo tobish me marom, kakatuva yad neviecha, vikara ze el ze ve'amar.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tziva'ot, Melocho ha'aretz, Kivodo.
Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Madir Shimcha bechol haaretz.
Baruch Kivod Adonai Mimchamo.
Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu, v'hu Yashmienu, Berachamav le'enei kol chai.
Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai le'olam,
Elohai Yitzion, Lador Vador, Hallelujah.
Ledor vador nagid godlecha, ulnetzach netzachim kedushatcha nagdish, v'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush, le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
To all generations we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God.
Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shavi'i
Shabbat.
Kulam Yisbeu Vitangu Mituvecha Shabbat. Yismechu V'malachutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat V'korei Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu V'malachutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat V'korei Oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto
Shabbat.
Chemdat yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei Oneg Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh v'reishit Shabbat. Zecher lema'aseh v'reishit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei Oneg Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat.
We now take time for silent prayer.
Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imiru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imiru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imiru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imiru amen.
We come now to the portion of our service which is known as Seder Kriyat Torah l'Shabbat, the service for the reading of the Torah on Shabbat. The Torah itself contains the 5 books of Moses. The Torah is the teachings that our tradition has passed down from generation to generation. We say ledor v'dor, from one generation to the next, into the hands of our young people, precisely because it is our young people that inspire us to take the visions and the teachings of the Torah and to live with it in the world, to walk around with it in their lives. We respect, of course, our teachers and our prophets and sages and those who have given us and helped to transmit the Torah. But the real gift of Torah is the gift of when we see it being held and taught by generations who will impact our world. Each and every week, we take the Torah out of what's of our ark. And our ark is sort of like a virtual Mount Sinai. Our Torah teaches us that our people received the teachings at Mount Sinai and then journeyed towards potential and freedom in the Promised Land. And we take the Torah out of our virtual Mount Sinai and we hold on to the Torah. We pass it ledor v'dor from generation to generation, and then we actually walk around with the Torah in our community, recognizing that it is a gift that should be shared. During COVID, we began a process of having some families have a virtual B'nai Mitzvah. And it turns out that, of course, the house family had a virtual bat mitzvah as well during the pandemic. And is that right? You were there? I remember. Okay, good. Just making sure, right? And it was a crazy time, right? It was a crazy time that we couldn't actually have the bat mitzvah the way that we had wanted to have it, intend to have it, but we did it anyway, and we had resilience through it. And during your bat mitzvah, we started a process where we actually did a virtual Torah passing, passing down the Torah, the ledor v'dor, from generation to generation with words rather than just the physical actions of sharing, of passing the Torah. And so the house family has asked that we're going to continue that tradition started by you, really, right? We're going to continue that tradition for your brother's bar mitzvah. We're going to invite a variety of people to come forward to help us do the virtual pass for Teddy. And then we're going to do a physical pass for Jacob and Teddy of the actual Torah scrolls themselves. For the virtual pass, or the spoken pass, I want to invite forward Molly and Phil Spiros, Jan and Dave House, Zach and Amy House, Rhett and Andrea Spiros. If you'll come forward over here, right over here.
As I pass you this Torah, I pass to you your great-grandfather Gilman's love of Torah and traditions.
With this Torah, I pass thousands of years of tradition.
As I pass this Torah to you, I pass love and appreciation of life and a sense of adventure.
In the process of this, I want to give you friendship for the rest of your life, and you make a lot of friends.
With this Torah, I pass along the virtue of sportsmanship.
I pass you this Torah with love and go Patriots.
As I pass this Torah to you, I pass you a lifetime of happiness and family traditions.
I pass you this Torah and wish you to follow the path of only what your passion brings you.
If we could have Ronan Friedenberg, if you'll come forward. And Jacob and Teddy, if you will go stand on the ground floor, if you'll go do that. Ronan, if you'll come forward. Teddy, come on over. Great. Jake and Betsy, if you'll come next to Teddy. And then Lisa and Jeremy, if you'll come forward and come stand next to your Jacob. And of course, I also want to invite forward Deborah Spritz, Louis Spritz, David Spritz, Joe and Gary Parker, if you will come forward. And now all we're missing is you. If the congregation will please rise.
All right, Jacob. As Teddy's family chose to continue our new tradition of the spoken Torah pass, your family has chosen to continue the tradition of the physical Torah pass being passed through the generations of your family. So Teddy, we have you up here as well. So I'm going to invite you both to just step forward for a moment. All right, Teddy, you have your parents behind you. Also up here, you have a lot of really important people. Jacob, we're going to ask you to look this direction, and Teddy, you're going to look at your people, the people behind you and the people up here, and take time and look into each of their eyes. Okay, and when you've done that, you can take a step back. This is a visual reminder, these human beings who have poured their hearts and souls into both of you as you have grown, of the generations upon generations of family that have come through history, through time, to enable you to be. We know that our stories are part of a much greater story of humankind and story of the Jewish people. And this is just a taste of what that means, these generations of your family. So it is our privilege, both of you, to pass this Torah, Jacob, through the generations of your family and into both of your arms. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romimu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romimu.
In 2021, the Taliban returned to power and took over Afghanistan after a 20-year war with the United States. When the Taliban took control of Afghanistan's cities and provinces, people began to flee because their lives were at risk. The Taliban were killing innocent people and removing the rights of women. It was terrifying to watch what was happening. It was even more terrifying for Afghani people who had collaborated with or worked for the United States. Many Afghan families were airlifted to safety, ultimately ending up in the United States and other countries around the world. Our own city of Charlotte took in many Afghani refugees. Last year, my family and I helped the Carolina Refugee Resettlement Agency to help set up an apartment for an Afghan family. The family was living a good life in Afghanistan. In Charlotte, they had nothing. I hope our small part in making a home for them made their transition to the United States a little easier, and I can't imagine being in their position. My Torah portion, which is called Parashat Reah, is about a group of people known as the ancient Israelites who were refugees. They had fled Egypt for a better life in the Promised Land. They journeyed to the land of Israel by foot. My portion takes place before the Israelites enter the land of Israel, as they were camped across the Jordan River on the plateau of Moab. Their leader, Moses, was an old man. He knew that he was about to die and that he would no longer be able to lead the Israelites to freedom. So he chose to teach the Israelites the laws and values so that they would be able to live their lives after he had died. The laws in my Torah portion include teachings about forgiveness of debts, giving to the poor and needy, and not being cruel to people. Moses goes as far as to say that there will be no longer needy amongst the Israelites. When I read that, I had some big questions. Did Moses really think that there would never be needy among us? Did he think it was going to happen really quickly? I think that Moses was giving the Israelites a goal to live up to, an ideal that we can reach for. I am not sure if it's possible for there to be no needy in our community. And there is a reality that life happens, wars happen. There are people that lose their jobs or even their homes. There are people who have to flee and find safety. Our tradition teaches to always help others when we can. Additionally, the Torah has an interesting idea of environmental conservation and debt forgiveness. The Torah's ideas of Shemitah is that every 7 years we make sure that the land is replenished by not planting or tilling. We let the land rest, and every 50 years people who have taken on debts or borrowed money would have their debts permanently forgiven. The practice of this is really complicated, but the ideal is that no one should have debts that are impossible to pay back. These are ways that God told us to open our hands out to the needy. Moses and God explained that we knew what it was like to be refugees from Egypt, so therefore we need to create a new society built on kindness and fairness. There are many people in our world that just need a little help from us to get back on their feet. We all fall down in life, but sometimes it's just the little things that help us get back up. I witnessed this firsthand with the Afghani family that escaped to freedom. Every day we see people in need. Each of us can do something to help people in need, to think about what more we can do to help others and how we can protect the earth and be better to it. Shabbat Shalom.
I hate to tell you, Teddy, but there's something that you have to do. He tried just to,
not done.
Yeah, to go off. For the first Aliyah today, I'd like to invite Madeline House, if you'll come forward.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Miketz shevashanim ta'aseh shemitah. Veze devar hashemita shamot choba'o mashe yado asher yashe bere'ehu lo yigosh et re'ehu ve'et achiv kikara shemita ladonai et hanochi tigosh va'asher yihye lecha et achicha tashmet yadecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Stay right there. First off, I want to teach everyone. Everyone say Yesher. Say Koach. Put that together. Say Yesher Koach. We say Yesher Koach to you, Madeline, for not only honoring Torah and Shabbat today, but for having resilience and teaching us about resilience through a pandemic and the way that you have embraced Torah in your life and the values of our tradition. And it is I know there's a lot of practicing earlier, but you have to practice to give a hug to your brother right now, if that's possible. So you can give him a big hug. All right, it happened. If you'll stand on the other side of the cantor, Thomas. It is my pleasure to invite forward your parents, Jake and Betsy, for the second Aliyah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Efes ki lo yihye becha evyon ki varech yevarechecha Adonai ba'aret. Asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach nachala l'rishta rak im shamoa tishmor bechol Adonai Elohecha lishmor leasot et chocha mitzvah hazot asher anochi mitzavecha hayom ki Adonai Elohecha berachecha ka'asher diber la Ve'ha'aveteta goyim rabim ve'ata lo te'avot umashelta begoyim rabim uvecha lo yimshol.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chaye olam nata b'toheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
And just join Madeline right over there. Perfect.
Jacob, Teddy, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Teddy, it is really exciting to get to stand up here and watch you so ably chant Torah. And now this is your bar mitzvah aliyah. So here we go. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Ya'amud Yahav ben Yaakov v'Betzi habar mitzvah la'aliyah la'Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamborah.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamborah le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bahar banu michol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki hieh v'cha evyon me'achad achecha be'achad she'arecha be'artzecha asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach lo te'amet et levavecha velo tikpot et yadecha me'achicha ha'evyon kifatoa tifta et yadecha lo v'ha'avet ta'avitenu de machsoro asher yasar lo hishamer lecha pen yihye devar im levavecha v'liya'a lemor kareva shenat hasheva shenat hashemita v'ra'a einecha be'achicha ha'evyon ve'lo titen lo ve'kara alecha el Adonai v'chaye v'cha hate. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And we say out loud, Yesher Koach. For honoring Torah, for honoring Shabbat, we say keep pounding, keep up the strength. And what a beautiful, beautiful job today. I want to invite you to go give your parents another hug and your sister at least a fist bump on the way.
For most of my life, my family has had 2 raised garden beds in our backyard. We've grown squash, beans, okra, tomatoes, and more. A year ago, I helped my dad build 3 more raised beds. It's like a little farm, even with a beehive. I love harvesting my own food because I like to eat it. It tastes so much better than the vegetables that we purchase at the grocery store. I also love that the garden is full of life. For my bar mitzvah project, I chose to harvest produce from my garden and to gather vegetables from the Providence Day School garden, other people's gardens, and the Shalom Park Community Garden. I then donate the produce to the Jewish Family Services Food Pantry so that people who are food insecure can have yummy and healthy food. My Torah portion, Parshat Re'ah, takes place when the Israelites are about to cross the river into the Promised Land, or as we know it, Israel. Moses and the Israelites wandered in the desert for 40 years. Before Moses died, he gathered the Israelites to speak to them about God's commandments. He wanted to make sure that the Israelites knew how to live with Jewish teachings and traditions after he was dead. One of the commandments that Moses teaches is the idea of tzedakah, giving what we have to those who are in need. Our Jewish tradition teaches that if you always give money, food, clothes, and shelter to the needy because they are human too. People who are hungry need food. People who are houseless need shelter. The Torah is telling us to be mindful of the people around us because there are always people that don't have basic needs that aren't being met. And without those basic needs, they won't live. If we value human life, we need to make sure that people have their basic needs met. My Torah portion teaches people to be charitable. It teaches us to really see the people around us, to understand the needs they have, and to lend a helping hand. My Torah portion also speaks about the Jordan River. After reading my Torah portion, I came to understand the river as a metaphor. To me, the river represents a barrier between the rich and the poor. The Torah's command for tzedakah, to give to the poor, is about building a bridge across the river connecting those who have with those who don't. In order to build a bridge, we have to be aware that there are people around us in need and that we have to act. Some may think that there aren't many people who are in need, but if we start looking around and expand our vision, we can see that there are indeed many people, including in our community, who need food, clothing, housing, and jobs. That's why Jewish Family Services has a food pantry right here on Shalom Park. If you like to garden, then harvest some food for a local food pantry, or volunteer at a local garden. But if you don't like to garden, then there are still ways to help out. Donate your time and money to those who are in need. Why? Because we can reduce the pain and suffering of people in Charlotte. Because we can give people dignity and hope. Because we can help people to live healthier lives. Shabbat Shalom.
For the fourth Aliyah, invite forward Louis and Deborah Spritz and David Spritz. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Baruch Adonai Hambarach Asher B'Chayim Mim Asher B'Chayim Torah Baruch Adonai Noten Torah.
Natan titain lo v'lo yera levavecha betitecha lo ki biglal hadavar hazeh yevarechecha Adonai Elohecha b'chol ma'asecha uv'chol mishlach yadecha ki lo yechdal evyon mikerev haaretz Al kain anochi matzavecha lemor pato ach tiftach et yadecha leachicha la'aniyecha ulevyonecha be'artzecha ki yimacher lach achicha cha'ivri o ha'ivriya va'advarcha she'shanim Uvashana hashvi'it teshalachenu chofshi meimach.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam v'Eloheinu baruch atah Adonai noten Torah.
Amen. And we say to you, Yeshua Koach, for honoring Shabbat and honoring the Torah and honoring your beloved Jacob. It's time to give him a hug and then go stand on the other side of Candor Thomas. Thank you. I invite forward your parents, Lisa and Jeremy, for the fifth Aliyah.
They're going to sing? Yeah, they're going to sing it.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
V'chi tishalachenu chofshi me'imach lo tishalachenu reikam. Ha'anek ta'anik lo mitzonecha umigornecha umiyikvecha asher berechecha Adonai Elohecha titan lo. V'zacharta ki eved hayita be'eretz Mitzrayim vayiftecha Adonai Elohecha al kain anachi metzovecha et hadavar hazeh hayom.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. We can say, first we're going to say Yasher Koach, and then we say Yasher Koach?
Yasher Koach.
And then absolutely give him a hug. Go give him a hug. Lisa's like, I cannot wait.
I'm almost done.
Amen.
Hug him up. All right, Jacob, here we go. For your bar mitzvah aliyah, we call you Jacob Henry Tart to the Torah. Ya'amod Yaakov Chaim ben Elisheva v'Jeremy ha-bar mitzvah la'aliyah la-Torah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
V'haya yomar elecha lo etze meimach ki ahevecha ve'et beitecha ki tov lo et mimach ve'lakachta et hamartseya ve'natata ve'ozno uvadelet ve'haya lecha eved olam ve'af la'amatcha ta'aseh ken lo yikshe ve'einecha b'shalechacha oto hoshi meimach ki mishne sachar sachir avadecha sheishanim uverechecha Adonai Elohecha b'chol asher ta'aseh. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayahom olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. And we say aloud, Yasher Koach.
Yasher Koach.
Yasher Koach, you can give him a hug. Go ahead. For honoring Torah and honoring Shabbat and honoring our community. Wonderful job.
Many spaces.
Go sit down over there.
As we have the Torah out, we're going to also show names on our screen. And the names on our screen are of people in our community who are in need of healing. Healing of mind and body and spirit and soul. These are members of our community or the family members of people in our community who we're thinking about on this Shabbat as we celebrate with the Torah, as we recognize that there are people in our own sanctuary today or online today who are thinking about also people at home or people in hospital rooms or maybe yourself or the person who's sitting right next to you. And so, as my eyes go around our congregation, we want to add to the names that are also scrolling on our list. We want to add the names of people that you're thinking about. We invite you to either say their names out loud or silently in your heart so that we can add them to our communal prayer for healing. Baruch atah Adonai rofehe cholim. Blessed are you, O God, who supports, who comforts those who are in need.
Misheberach avotenu mekor haberacha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor haberacha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I invite forward Ben Grossman to come lift the Torah. And to dress the Torah, we have Winston, Grace, Jackson, Cooper, Jax, and Max House. And ask the congregation to please rise. Hey guys, stay right here. Share some motion. Come back around. Come back around. Turn around.
Adonai beyad Moshe. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ana nai 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 nai, I nai 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 nai, I nai 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 nai, I nai nai nai, I nai nai nai, I nai 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 nai, I nai da nai nai da nai nai. I nai 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 nai, I nai 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 nai, I nai 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 nai, I nai nai nai, I nai nai nai, I nai 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 nai, I lie la lie lie la lie lie. I nine 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 I nine 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 I nine 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 I nine nine I nine 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 I nine 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 I nine 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 I nine and I.
Hold on, Teddy, hold on. We turn the microphone off for a second.
We just have to put the microphone back on. There we go.
I have a lot of people I would like to thank today. First, I would like to thank Rabbi Knight, Cantor Thomas, my Madrahim teachers, and my tutors for teaching me about our faith, our traditions, and helping me to feel prepared for this day. I'm very proud to have led services and chanted from the Torah. Thank you to all my friends and family for sharing this moment with me. In particular, I want to thank Jacob for being an awesome partner. Mazel tov to you and your family. I would also like to thank my extended family, my uncles, aunts, and cousins, for traveling from all over the country to be here. It means a lot that y'all are here and that we get to celebrate together. To my friends, I love hanging out with you guys. Thank you for all your support through this journey. Maddie, even though we have disagreed once or twice or more, you always find time to go outside and play sports with me, whether it's throwing the football, shooting the basketball, or passing the soccer ball. I don't admit it as often as I should. I appreciate spending time with you. Thanks for all your help. I'm really lucky to have 4 amazing grandparents, Mimi and Papa. I love hanging out with you guys, whether it's going to the pool or getting ice cream. Grandma and Grandpa, I love to play shuffleboard and play golf with you guys, even though I usually end up mad about how I play. Thank you for your constant support and love. Mom, each and every day you support me with my school and life. You are always here for me when I need help. You are a great role model for balancing everything in the world, including our family. Thank you for all the love you give. Dad, I love going to the baseball fields with you and hanging out with you. You always make time for me and for our family. You are a great person to talk to and laugh with. I love you, Mom and Dad. Please join me on the bima.
First, congratulations, Jacob. And Jeremy and Lisa, it's been wonderful to share this experience with you. Teddy, you've always kept me on my toes. When you were a baby, you were perfect during the day. You were actually a really easy baby. That a friend of mine said, if I could guarantee to have a Teddy, I would have a 3rd child. But little did she know, you left your mischievousness up for the nighttime. You hated to sleep. I was up probably every 2 hours with you. One night, I was so desperate to get you to sleep that I actually climbed into your crib, hoping and praying this would help you sleep. It didn't work. You continue to keep me on my toes, whether I'm trying to keep up with you on the streets of Chicago on the electric bikes, or on the ski slopes, or staying up night using Life 360 to monitor you and your friends, walking around the neighborhood at night. I've spent many hours on my toes worrying about you, but I can see that you're striving to do what is right, and I know you're growing up, and I can see that I can let my heels down a little bit more. I'm so proud of all the work that you put into getting to today. You have a kind heart and a sense of what is right. My hope and prayer for you is that you continue to care deeply for the people around you and for your community. I love you more than I could ever describe. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
Okay. Teddy, first, Jacob, amazing job. Jeremy, Lisa, Mazel Tov. So I've got a few things I want to talk to you about, and the things that I admire about you. But first, before we get there, we probably need to thank the person who's most responsible for you being here today, and that's your mom. If you think about it, from when we moved to Charlotte, getting in the Charlotte Jewish Preschool, the Shabbat supper clubs, the drives to Hebrew school. I mean, heck, she even learned an Aliyah today, and she's not Jewish. Like, we have to remember that, right? And so she does a lot, and we just couldn't do anything in our family without her, so love you, Beth. On to you. So there's 3 things I think about with you, and the things I'm really proud of you about. First, if you think about it, I mean, Teddy, Tedler, T-Man, TeddyHouse.com, TeddyHoose.com. You are a man of so many nicknames. And if I think about it, people who have that many nicknames generally have a magnetism about them. They attract people, they attract friends, they attract family. And that is certainly true with you. I can tell you, I'm pretty sure I've just been Jake my entire life. So this is from a place of respect. The second thing when I think about you is adaptability. When we moved to Charlotte, you had to adapt to new surroundings, to a new place. When you went to a new school, you had to adapt to new places. When I think about adaptability, I'm not talking about sports, right? You could always throw, catch, hit anything. Like that's amazing. But it's your ability to adapt to different situations. And even today, what you did to get to this point today is amazing. You learned another language. You read from a Torah that has no vowels in it. It's very, very difficult to do what you did. And you did it incredibly well. And then finally, when I think about you and what I'm proud about is your heart. You feel deeply. I always say it's very difficult to get anything by Teddy because his mind's working rapidly. He always catches on. And that's a blessing and a curse, right? Because you have a strong sense of justice and what's right. And you care about what happens to other people. In many ways, your Torah portion was perfect for you. It's how do you make sure that those in need and those around us who are in need have what they have, that whether it's debt or whatever it is, that we're taking care of those less fortunate. So your heart is amazing, and I hope you never lose that. And then the last thing I want to do is read something. And these are not my words. They're not even my cards. But when I read them, they resonated. And I'm going to read this to you, and then I'll explain a little bit more. Since Mom and I will continue to make less of the decisions, for you, let me ask you to make the following commitments. There are 5. Always be true to yourself and utilize your God-given power of reason. Stay committed to God and the teachings of the Torah. Make them the focal point of your life. Always remain committed to the Jewish people in Israel. Remember, although we are small in number, united we are very strong. 4, be committed to continue to learn. Remember, today is only a beginning. And then 5, please never change the love and the joy that you give to your family. We love you. These words and these cards were read to me 33 years ago today, or not today, but this month, on a bima in a much smaller sanctuary by my dad. And they resonated with me then, they resonate with me now, and I'm just super proud of you. I love you so much.
I would like to say thank you to all the people who have helped me throughout this process of becoming a bar mitzvah. Thank you to all my tutors, and especially to Karen and Mary Thomas, who made this feel a lot less stressful. Rabbi Knight, thank you for helping me with my speeches and for helping me prepare for today. I also want to say thank you to my friends for being here today. Congratulations to Teddy and his family. Teddy, you did a great job. Mazel tov. On this day, I remember my great papa, who is no longer with us. I was lucky to have a great-grandfather for such a long time in my life, and we all miss him. Nana and Grandpa, thank you for being the most wonderful Jewish grandparents ever. I love visiting you in Baltimore, and you make really good food. Uncle Dave, you are by far my favorite uncle. It's nice going to the beach with you. Hopefully we can go again next year. Mima and Papa, it's fun to go up to your house because I get a break from video games and I get to drive tractors. I love playing Yahtzee with you. A very special thanks to my sister Hannah. You are wonderful, and even though we don't get along all the time, it is fun to swim and play video games with you. You are a great artist, and I hope you keep adding color to the world. Mom and Dad, thank you for being the most wonderful, supportive, and loving parents ever. Thank you for teaching me life lessons about how to be a kind, caring, and thoughtful person. Mom, I really appreciate that I can talk to you about anything. I admire that you use your abilities to help make a positive impact on the world and that you inspire others to do so too. Dad, you always have something to teach me, whether it's in life like practical things or practical things like mowing the lawn, cleaning the pool, and building things out of wood. I am lucky to have you as parents. Mom and Dad, I love you. Please come join me on the bima.
Oh, half of it's mine, half of it's your mom's. First, I wanted to say great job, Teddy. Betsy, Jake, it was great working with you guys as well. It's been a pretty painless experience, I'd say, overall. Jacob. Words can't fully express how proud of you I am on this day, and on any day, really. As you know, I was neither born nor raised Jewish, but I've watched you enthusiastically learn. And over the years, do you remember those little cups? I found some of those the other day, little cups when you were learning the Jewish alphabet. Yeah, I found some of those the other day and I made me remember. And in turn, I've learned from you. I've learned a lot about it, the process from you. And I could stand up here and tell everyone in here how great you are. How great you are at soccer and video games. You know, you have a social calendar that outshines both your mom and mine. Your grades in school. Yeah, I could talk about all that, but I'd rather talk about the two qualities that fill my heart when I think of them. First, your resilience. When the world changed in 2020, it hit the younger generation, particularly hard, both socially and academically. You never wavered. You stood tall. You worked hard, extra hard, to keep up your grades, to keep up your social connections, and your friendships. I remember thinking to myself, wow, I'm not sure that I could have done that. I'm not sure, that I could have done what you did at that age during that period. I think that would have been hard for me. And then the second thing that I always think about with you is you're always happy. It's almost giddy. You get into this place where you're giggly and laughy, and it's cute to see. It annoys, it drives me and your mom, and especially your sister, crazy. But you have a love for life and for making other people laugh and smile. Don't ever lose that. After this day is over and everyone goes home, I hope you remember what it meant to become a bar mitzvah today and how special you are to so many people. I mean, just look at all the people that have come to be here for you today. We're all here to celebrate you. And I love you, son. Really.
I should have brought tissues up here, so I don't know what I was thinking. Congratulations again, Jake and Betsy and Teddy. Thank you. You're fantastic, and it was really a pleasure. Jacob, you got something to talk? Okay, all right. My heart is full today as you become a bar mitzvah and share this incredible moment with our family, our friends, our congregation. I couldn't be happier than I am right now, standing here with you and Dad. As he said, there are many things we love about you that make us so proud to be your parents. You are diligent, funny, smart, silly, and kind. And what I admire most about you is your ability to make connections. You make meaningful connections in many ways with your friends, in your classes, and in your Torah study. I love the metaphor you identified in your Torah portion. The River Jordan is a barrier between people, one that we need to cross in order to connect with all of those around us. My hope is that we all follow your lead and continue to work to transcend those barriers that separate us. I love spending time with you in our garden, in the Shalom Park Community Garden, and in the Providence Day Garden, making connections with the earth, and harvesting food for Jewish Family Services, and I look forward to many more garden days with you. I know you have incredible things in your future, and I can't wait to see what you accomplish, while hopefully watching a few baseball games together along the way. I wish you all the love in the world on this wonderful day, and for many years to come. Mazel tov. I love you.
Rabbi Erdheim, if you'll come forward. invite the congregation to please rise. Jacob and Teddy. As has been said to you, this Torah portion is exactly right for the two of you because of your innate sense of justice and kindness in the world. The two of you are compassionate. The two of you have recognized that the world as it is not as the world ought to be. And whether we're crossing the Jordan or crossing the recognition of people who are moving here from Afghanistan, whether we are giving food, giving our time, the two of you consistently have shown that we make the world better by bringing godliness into the world. In your Torah portion, it says that there will never, ever be needy amongst us. And then, just a few verses later, it says, there will always be needy amongst us. So which is it? Is there never going to be needy amongst us, or are there always going to be needy amongst us? And the rabbis answer that the one word that repeats repeatedly over and over in your Torah, the word yevarechecha, to bless, right, that you should be blessed by God, is that blessing by God comes about through the ways in which you bring the light of God that is inside of you into the world. So our blessing for you matches, really, frankly, your parents' blessings for you. That you take that innate spark inside of you and you bless the world through your actions. So I want to invite your parents to come stand right behind you and have you come stand forward. And everyone, we're going to do a blessing through their parents to both Jacob and Teddy. And you have a role. Everyone say the word. Everyone say, Ken, Yehi, Ratzon. Now put that together and say, Ken Yehi Ratzon. And that means, may this be God's will. And it is the words that we say after we translate the words of Birkat Kohanim, which begin with the word Yevarechecha, which begin with the word, may you be blessed, right? And the recognition that we say, may this be God's will, after each stanza of the blessing, blessing Jacob and Teddy with our words.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the face of God shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God walk with you all of the days of your life, and may God bless you with the most important blessings of all, the blessing of shleimut, of wholeness, and shalom, of peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. And let us all say, Amen. We stay standing exactly as we are as we continue with a prayer called Aleinu L'Shabeach, praying for a more whole, a more just world.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Go take this out. At this time, we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. And we recognize that whenever there is a celebration, whenever there is joy in our community, we are living with a layered experience. A layered experience precisely because there are people whom we have loved and whom we have lost, whose memories continue to shine on in the canopy of life. Their light brightens our lives. Their light shines a path on our way. And we remember them, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts as our own. It's our custom in our congregation to stand when the name of your loved one is read. And we're in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days after the deaths of Audrey Claire Izarski, Harriet Hirschman, Andrew Karp, Lisa Kirkias, Rabbi Stanley Skolnick, and Scott Michael Turner. We mark with sympathy and sadness the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Miriam Abramsky, Justina Alarcon, Phil Andel, Myrna Joy Andel, Anna Apple, Royal G. Beck, Rosa Biller, Raul Bachlin, Arlen E. Cohen, Patrick Conway, Irving Davis, Salvatore De Mayo, Harold Fishkin, Ethel Fox, Miriam Weingarten Friedman, June W. Garfinkel, Donald Gottheim, Sissy Gottlieb, Abe Greenberg, Barbara Bertha Helling, Janet Herman, Henry T. Jacobson, Irene Jacobson, Mac Josephs, Sophie Cassary, Bernice Klein, Peter Kushikow, Florence Lasser, Lily Levine, Herman Levine, Thelma Levine, Sherman Levine, Rosalind Levy, Daniel Mabel, Harriet Mandel, Harry Marks, Abraham Miller, Ida Monchas, Esther Mond, Helen Moulter, Herman Nove, Herman Nove, Manuel Ornstein, Max Putterman, Luis Rickles, J. Morton Rosenblum, Manuel Rosenfield, Charles Israel Ruttman, Paul Schatt, Sally Schindler, Dina Schlegel, Paul A. Schwartz, Gloria Schwartz, Helen Sherbert, Ezzy Isidore Cinco, Regina Stahl, Sidney Stein, David Underwood, Joseph F. Bueno, Jamie Yaglum, and Corinne Zimmerman Spear Swan. Teddy's family wishes to remember on this day Rose and Norton Gilman, Sam and Phyllis House, Margaret and Ted Everett, Martha and Charles Sparrows. And Jacob's family wishes to remember Joshua and Rose Blyer, Timothy Blyer, Dorothy and Silvert Spritz, Leah Esther and Percy Tart, Anna Benson Ennis, Horace and Claire Wright. Remember as well all who died in the Shoah, the Holocaust, our first responders who have given their lives for our freedoms, and those who died defending the state of Israel. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing as we stand as one congregational family with the words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei olamaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar